Good afternoon, everyone. It's New Jersey Garden. I wanted to do a video showing my front yard garden area. There's a little bit of construction noise in the background, so I'll try to speak up a little bit. There's actually a butterfly flying right around here. This is a perennial I've shown before. It's called Maltese cross, and it's pretty much finished its full bloom. It's a really pretty flower. I love that it doesn't seem to be bothered by any pests, and it gets really tall. The only thing I had to say is it's a little hard to match the color. It's like a bright orange red, and it's a little hard to match in terms of combining it with other flowers. We have some poppies that have gone past. This is yarrow down here, and I really do love yarrow. It does attract, in my yard, it does seem to attract some aphid bugs. Trying to zoom in there. But the yarrow is such a pretty plant, and I'll do more videos when it's in full bloom. This is lady's mantle here. This is the catmint, which is attracting a lot of bumblebees. They just buzz around. They don't bother me. They don't sting. I will be cutting this back in the next couple weeks, really severely, because it's really getting overgrown, and it's really massive. It grows really well, so I'll be cutting that back. Over here we have some Stelladora daylilies, and we have tall Alaska variety Shasta daisies. Here we have lavender, which is just popping into bloom, and the bees love this. I would love to learn how to harvest lavender oil. I think I read that you should harvest the lavender oil from lavender at this stage when it's just opening up or just before the flowers bloom. So we're kind of like at that stage now. I think when all the flowers are in bloom, there's not as much oil in the leaf, but I could be wrong. I don't know what variety this is. I think it's one of the English type lavenders. I've grown Spanish and French lavender, and this one has a really narrow stem, and it will bloom twice. It blooms now. It's June 22nd. What I do is I cut down all of the blooms in a couple weeks when it's finished blooming, and then it will bloom again for me in August. And you really should, it's a good idea to prune your lavender in the fall, especially because you want to maintain a nice shape and not create like a woody look to your lavender. So it's good to prune it at least once in the fall. And we just have some poppies that have gone past. This was Princess Victoria Louise, and I divided them. I hope they come back next year. Poppies are really particular. They don't do great when you transplant them, and they're a little hard to grow, to be honest. The Princess Victoria Louise has done great in my gardens, but I've had other varieties of poppies that haven't done as well. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I've transplanted some of the poppies, and I've watered them a couple times, and they just look pretty bad. So I don't know if they're going to make it. But this is a daisy. This right here is called calamint. It's like a white mint. It's in the mint family. It's a white minted plant. Over here we have all the Shasta daisies, and they're now coming into full bloom. They're about 4.5 feet tall. I cut them back every few days just to keep the legginess under control. I probably should stake them because on windy days they do kind of flop a little bit. And I just have a little bit of Stelladora daylilies and some alyssum down here. This is blanket flower coming into full bloom. Most of my perennials are deer proof or deer resistant because we have a pretty bad deer problem here where I live in zone 6A. This is just a little catmint seedling. So the daisies are looking pretty good. Excuse the background noise. I think one of my neighbors is mowing his lawn. Here's another calamint. It'll be covered with little white flowers. And this is getting pretty big. This is actually a crepe myrtle. It's a bush, and I'm trying to train it into a tree. It's doubled in size since last year. Here's another yarrow. This is just a lilac tree. I think this, I'm sorry for the shadows here. I think this is a, we'll see what this is. I think this may be a marigold. I have a few bits of dill scattered throughout the yard because I love when dill, I love the taste of dill, but I love the flowers that the dill produces, and they go great with the zinnias that I plant. So I mix dill and zinnia in bouquets later in the summer. This I think is either a, I think it's a coneflower that's, I planted this last year. I think it's going to be coneflower. I transplanted a whole bunch of purple ageratum plants over here. This is what ageratum looks like. Again, I'm sorry for the shadows. Ageratum is a great annual plant that will drop its seeds and you'll get more the following year. And I had a whole bunch of seedlings in another part of the yard, so I moved them here. This spiky plant is called liatris. It will have tall, beautiful purple spikes. I may miss a few flowers, but I'll come back and do additional videos. Here's some more of the blanket flower. This is a pretty reliable blanket flower. I have two varieties. I have a tall version that gets about 3.5 feet tall, and then a short version that gets only about 2 feet tall. Here's some clematis. This is our mailbox. I didn't stake it properly earlier in the season, so it's kind of flopping over. Again, I'm sorry for the shadowing here. I transplanted a Russian sage over here, and it's looking rather sickly. It got attacked by the 4-line plant bug, which is a pest that I have a problem with in my yard, and I'm hoping it comes back. I will be watering and fertilizing later today. It's a hot day. Here's some more lavender. This lavender bush has been here for about 6 years, and it's really big. Okay, I'm gonna have to cut the video short because there's some background noise.